Hi, my friends. A short book writing update from me. I am two-third through the book writing in the English and also in the German version, and I need prayer. Because it's very tough to write the story for me, and today I was, after my writing day, at the beach because the weather here is so stormy and we had a lot of rain today. It's dry, but this is still stormy, and I love the storm because I grown up between two oceans at the border, Germany, Denmark, and I was always at the west coast where it was always so stormy. And whenever I need to feel myself again, I'm doing this with nature. So I remember when I was young, I was running into snowstorms or whatever, and I was always at the west coast of Denmark. And when it was stormy, and I almost couldn't stand the wind, but it's so amazing because then I can feel myself again. So, and this was also today, because today it was a tough chapter I was writing, and the day after tomorrow, I will start with the third chapter of the third part of the book, the last part. And I think this will be the most tough part of the book. I know that this book is so much needed, and I can see all the pearls in it. You know, God is really revealing me again and again all the pearls I have through the story. And not only pearls, I have also a diamond I discover the last days. So it was not only the last 1.5 years that he set me free from so many different things and changed my life completely. I now experience this more and deeper and more and deeper, you know. So when I left, when I flew out of Ottawa in March, end of March, I couldn't imagine what this story is doing with me and what God did the last almost 2 years, you know. So, but he totally changed my life. He totally changed me. I grew a lot through all this. What I experienced the last months, but it's still tough. So, and tonight I was sitting with my friends at the dinner table, and we were speaking about the Jewish feast of Shavuot, what is coming soon. This is the Pentecost for the Christian, and when Holy Spirit got pulled out, you know. So, and it's an amazing celebration, amazing feast. Can you imagine the disciples sitting in the upper room and Holy Spirit came upon them? And I experienced this so many times that the fire of God hit me and changed me. And yeah, it's just amazing. I'm loving Holy Spirit like crazy. So, but we were also talking about Yom Kippur. Last Yom Kippur, I was in Israel, and I was writing about Israel today, what I experienced in the time when Iraq attacked us at the 1st of October last year, and I thought maybe I will not survive the night. And then I was sitting with my neighbors in the bunker and speaking about Italian food, you know. So, and I was celebrating the Feast of Tabernacle last year, end of October, in Israel, and it had the theme of not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. So, and then we crossed over into the new year of grace, mercy, and favor, of open windows. So, and before that, we had the celebration of Yom Kippur, the 9 days of really, cleansing the people, coming to God's throne and saying sorry for what we did wrong and get cleansed by all the guilt, And this was the most peaceful day I ever experienced, because at this day whole Israel is silent. There is no car running, no train, no airplane is going, nothing. Sometimes you hear some children on the street and nothing more. Even no alert, no missiles, nothing. It was magical. During this time, I was in the West Bank, but near Jerusalem, and I was looking into the desert of Judea and Samaria, and it was magical. And then you realize there's a peace what is so much bigger than anything else on earth. And today I got reminded of this, and I know my soul right now needs this peace. When I was running down to the beach, and it was so stormy, and I could feel myself again a little bit, because it was so... it's a heartbreaking story I'm writing right now of unfulfilled love. But it is amazing how God used this story to set me free and to show me what the hatred of the world means, the narcissism of the world. The devil was the first narcissist on earth. And this is a big, big field, and I studied all of this, and this was the main point. I was in Israel to study all of this and to get healed through Holy Spirit, not by mind, not by power, but by His Spirit, and get set free. And God is still working through my writing to me, and I have now this wonderful chain of pearls, and I also have now the diamond out of the story. I discovered this week, and God is still working to bring the pearls and the diamond together. And this will be, I think, when the last part of the book is written, my chain will be finished. And I discovered something today, and I was crying my head off. I was looking through the whole story and what it meant and what God meant, because from the beginning of the story He told me, trust in me wholeheartedly and don't lean on your own understanding. And I was always I was always thinking differently about this verse, but He is really showing me sometimes you get really smashed down and get broken by people, and especially by loved ones. You're smashing the floor. And sometimes you're thinking, oh, these are not the people, this is the devil. The devil is in the story, and the devil is trying to bring you away from God. And this is also true. Both of this is true. Sometimes these are people, sometimes it's the devil, and God showed me in this whole picture of this story that when you crash to the floor and you are hitting rock bottom, you are facing guilt. And this guilt was already carried from Jesus to the cross. So you can't go to Jesus and you can't say, forgive me, like to Yom Kippur, the last day of that. And God is always willing to forgive you, always. And He is cleansing you whiter than snow. But He also reminded me, and I was writing about this today, that the rock bottom has always a basement. And in the basement, there is this shame. So, and I was a shame-based person, this is for sure. Through all my stories I experienced, through all the traumas, I was a shame-based person, and God set me free from this. He pulled me out of this basement of shame. So, and whenever I now facing guilt, it doesn't matter, it's not longer shame-based. So, and I can learn out of it. So this is one of the pearls he gave me and I experienced, and it is amazing. It is an amazing story. So, but this week, I discover I was not only broken by a man, and I was not broken by the devil. I was broken from God himself. Yes, God is a God of love, always. And I'm telling this again and again and again, that we need to spread love. But sometimes God needs to break us. And I remember many, many, many years ago, I had one prayer: break me for love, God, break me for love. Until a friend of mine said, do you know what you are praying? So God will never break you for love. That's not true. He broke me. He smashed me down to the floor through this story, so that I can be broken to love the broken people on earth, to sit with the shame-based people in the basement and love on them. And you only can do this when you get broken by God. And he showed me this week. And I was really, really touched by this today, because I was writing about it. And we should never forget that we all have a calling. It looks always different for everybody. So, but some people are really called out of the normal world, out of the normal life, to fulfill a special call of God. And I only can say to you, please say yes. Say yes. It is not an easy journey, not at all. So, but I had never an easy life, and I said always yes to God, always. So, and he trained me and taught me 14 years long on the road. So, and he's still not finished. And after he did all this, he smashed me to the floor, and he broke my heart in 1,000 pieces, so that he can set it together, and through all the brokenness shines the love of God, so that the people around me can see his love in me and what he did for me. So, and this is what I wanted to share with you today, and asking for prayer, because the third part of the book will be, for me, the hardest to write. It is an adventure in the deepest basement of people. And so surprising and twisting, and had such a surprising end, what I never ever could imagine would be happen. Never. So, and I think I will need the next 14 days to write this part of the book. And I really need you behind me. Please cover me with prayer, with comfort from Holy Spirit. And I will let you know when it's finished, when it's done, when it's over. I mean, he said this when I was in Ottawa and did my assignment. One morning he said to me, it's over, it's done, you can go. And then I flew out of Ottawa. So, and I need my next assignment when the book is finished, this is for sure. And I'm praying already for this. Still do not know. But we will see. So God is, I know, I can trust God. I know that he has another thing on his mind. And my venture is journey with him, and the next book is coming for sure. And yeah. So thank you so much that you are carrying me and praying for me and staying with me, being interesting what God has to say about the hatred of the world and the narcissism. Bye.